Psychological Association itself, which is the largest association of psychologists in the world. It has 130,000 members and affiliates. The APA played a significant role in making the continuation of the torture program possible.
Have you ever had a really, really bad day? Well, let me tell you about mine. I was a 9-7 Echo 1 in the United States Army. That's an interrogator. My acquired languages were Vietnamese, Thai, Spanish, and German. I enlisted in June 6, 1961. Each of those languages involved extensive language training at the Defense Language Institute at Monterey, California. I also was licensed as a psychologist in 1982. So why am I having a very, very bad day? Well, the intelligence report is due out today, and it indicates that members of the first profession were engaged in enhanced interrogation techniques under the auspices of President Bush and were aided by my second profession. Let me be clear, when I was an interrogator, we did not use enhanced interrogation techniques. Psychologists had not invented them yet. We used trickery and guile because John McCain was a POW while I was in Vietnam. We sought not to create any reason for them to treat him worse than we already treated him and others. We used to sit around and wonder, why didn't he not simply just come home? His father had his lapels full of stars, and then he would send John home in a heartbeat. So today, as I'm having a very, very bad day and following the upcoming elections, I thought it would be important to pose the question to each candidate about where do they stand on enhanced interrogation techniques. Of course, most of them will not say. So let's listen carefully to what they do say and decide what they would most like.
What exactly did they do? How far did they go was it collusion with the administration? Was it just kind of shielding their eyes and maybe pretending like they didn't know the extent of what was going on?
It was actual collusion. What we found, we were given a collection of emails that were written between high APA official and high psychologists in the CIA and the White House. And what happened is that they worked together to bend APA's ethics policy so that that policy wouldn't interfere with psychologists actually fulfilling the role that the Bush administration wanted them to play in overseeing and executing the torture program.
What incentive would they have to do this, though?
What incentive?
Yeah. Why would the APA say that?
I think that there's a kind of opportunity. After September 11th, there was an enormous push for intelligence operations. There was an enormous opportunity for psychologists to play a role that they never played before, to be directly involved in the highest level of these interrogations and information gathering strategies. So I think there was a kind of adventurism and opportunity, and who knows, the history of the Defense Department and the CIA and the APA is a long-standing history.
It is that history that troubles me most, because recently I dunked on Dr. Bachman for trying to cure homosexuality because he let his religion interfere with his psychological work. I wonder, what do you say to the APA who let fear interfere with their psychological work? I understand that we were all afraid on 9/11. Watching those planes hit those buildings was indeed scary. However, was that really justification for losing our minds? We have been ugly Americans around the world for decades. These types of activities do very little to repair our reputation. And we wonder why people hate us so much. Well, read the tea leaves.
The Intelligence Committee released its damaging report on the CIA's torture program during the Bush administration. But the fallout still continues. The prolonged and public battle leading up to the report's release included the spying scandal, in which it was disclosed that the CIA snooped on the Senate's computer network and reportedly tried to intimidate Intelligence Committee members. But it turns out that the CIA is still trying to discredit the Senate's findings and enhance interrogation techniques that are effective at gaining intelligence. Last December, an accountability review board, whose members had been selected by CIA Director John Brennan, exonerated Brennan and the CIA personnel who worked with the Senate computers. Next month, former CIA officials will release a book titled Rebuttal. The CIA responds to the Senate Intelligence Committee's study of its detention and interrogation program. But now, a new investigative report by Jason Leopold of Vice News seems to cause a question the CIA's official narrative about what happened. I'm Jason joins me now. Good morning, Jason. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
So now, through a FOIA request, we were able to gain access to hundreds of pages of documents from the CIA. And what were the key findings, even some of the findings they didn't want you, perhaps, to find?
Well, the first finding was really the letter that John Brennan had wrote that he was going to send to Dianne Feinstein and Saxby Chambliss, the ranking minority member of the Intelligence Committee, basically apologizing for spying on the Senate and for violating an agreement that they entered into with Leon Panetta, the former director of 2009. This was a fascinating letter because Brennan had spent many months denying this search, this spying took place, that he intimidated the staffers. So it turns out that when I called Feinstein's office to discuss this letter, discuss the documents, they said they never received it. And it turns out that the CIA mistakenly gave us this letter. This was a draft letter that Brennan never sent. The actual letter he sent to the lawmakers was much different in tone. Didn't make any apologies or admissions of violating any agreements. And he did apologize for that, to be